We recently returned from a 2-week trip to Ireland. Gregory, Jack, and youngest son Joe made the trip. The 2 elder sons sadly had to work. We landed at dawn and stayed in a hotel on the River Liffey. We spent great, beautiful days in Dublin. We saw lots of music, saw lots of beautiful pubs, churches, and churches turned into pubs. We drank Irish coffee, a Guinness or two, and even learned how to pour a perfect pint at the Guinness storehouse. We also spent time with Mr. Jameson. Because we wanted to visit small towns, we rented a car. Driving on the wrong side of the car, on the wrong side of the road, was one challenge, and the small winding back roads made for horses was another. We traveled southwest to Abbeyleix to see Gregory's ancestral home. Her grandfather, great-grandfather, and likely many others were born there. We were able to meet with her clan, and her father's cousin treated us like family. We continued south through beautiful country to 2 small towns that many Irish had never heard of, Kilmallock and Kilfinane. Kilfinane was hosting a local music festival. We stayed in a beautiful bed and breakfast, a 250-year-old home that had been in the family for 6 generations. The town also has beautiful hiking trails. That evening, we ended up meeting the festival's musicians at the only restaurant in town. They were all happy to see Americans at the show. During the night, one of the bands shouted to the crowd to say hello to the Americans. We stayed until 3 a.m. To reach Dingle, now on the other side of the country from Dublin, we had to drive through beautiful but still narrow roads. Dingle is a beautiful bay town. We walked along the cliffs until we could look out toward the ocean. We saw a dog that looked exactly like our old dog Mitch. We even saw the local dolphin put on a show in the bay. Dingle is a great town for bookstores, cafes, and music. The pubs have amazing musicians. One pub learned that Joe and Jack played guitar and mandolin, and we ended up borrowing instruments and playing 2 songs in the pub and at a restaurant the next day. To get to Galway, we had to take winding cliff roads as well as a ferry. Galway is an ancient but still bustling seaport and university town. We stayed right downtown on a street filled with cafes and pubs. We toured the old city and university and walked along the ocean. On one walk, we saw a Friday afternoon wedding that featured an ice cream truck. Gregory enjoyed a French wine bar, and we even found Crane's Pub that Jack had gone to 35 years ago on his first trip to Galway. Music, of course, was played in all the pubs. About 10 doors down from us were 2 great pubs, McSwiggan's and Bar and Chalat, top of the quay, which had a peat fireplace burning at all times. Once again, people learned we played music, and in Top of the Key, Joe and Jack were given instruments and led the band in versions of Friend of the Devil and the Bob Dylan song Wagon Wheel. It was a blast. We drove across the country from Galway to Dublin in 2 hours. We ended the trip where we began in downtown Dublin for 2 final days. Joe went kayaking on the River Liffey, and Gregory and Jack hiked on the cliffs around Howth, and we even found more great music and pubs. As always, it was bittersweet to leave a place and return home. We have great memories of our times in Ireland, but mostly we are remembering the people. The Irish have a reputation for being open, generous, funny, and kind. 'tis true.